My wife left me, and the kids all took her side. Years later, they're trying to reconnect. But I told them to keep that same energy they had when they chose her. Hello Reddit I plus here. When I was 23, I thought I had life figured out. I married the girl I'd fallen for back in college. Her name was Sophie. She was wild in spirit, confident, and the kind of woman who made everyone in a room notice her without even trying. I was quieter, more grounded. We balanced each other. Or so I thought. By the time I was 34, we had 3 children. Lily, 10, Ben, 8, and Noah, 5. I worked long hours managing a construction firm while Sophie stayed home with the kids. To outsiders, we looked like the perfect family. Sunday brunches, family photos at the park, Christmas cards with matching sweaters. But behind the pictures and smiles, our marriage was cracking in ways I couldn't see clearly then. One Friday evening, I came home early from a job site, hoping to surprise Sophie with dinner out. Instead, I found her sitting at the dining table with a man I recognized. Our neighbor, Peter. A man who used to wave at me every morning as I left for work. The look in her eyes told me everything before a single word was spoken. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just stood there, numb. And in that moment, something inside me quietly broke. We divorced a few months later. I tried to keep things civil for the kids. We agreed not to tell them the real reason. Mom and Dad just grew apart. I thought I was protecting them, but in hindsight, that silence was the biggest mistake I ever made, because Sophie didn't stay silent. Slowly, my kids began to pull away from me. It started small. Shorter visits, cold shoulders, missed phone calls. Then, when Lily turned 14, she told me, "You ruined everything, Dad. You're the reason we're not a family anymore." I didn't know where she got that from, but I had a good guess. By the time Noah was 17, all 3 of them barely spoke to me, except when they needed money or wanted to insult me. Sophie had painted me as the villain, the man who gave up on their family. I tried to tell them the truth, but Sophie threatened me. She said she'd make my life and my mother's life hell if I ever told the kids about her affair. She was working in real estate then, and she had influence, connections, money, and charm that she knew how to weaponize. I didn't have the fight left in me, so I stayed quiet and watched my kids grow into strangers who hated me. 2 years later, I was completely alone. The kids stopped answering my calls. They wouldn't visit during the holidays. And the one time I showed up at Noah's graduation, they acted like I was some distant relative crashing the event. One night, after months of feeling invisible, I tried to end it all. A handful of pills, a bottle of whiskey, and a note that just said, "I tried." I woke up in a hospital bed with my boss, who also happened to be my oldest friend Henry, sitting beside me. He didn't lecture me. He just said, "You need a new start, man. You can't keep living in that house filled with ghosts." A month later, Henry offered me a transfer, a job managing a branch of our company in Oregon, thousands of miles away. I took it. I packed everything I owned into a single moving truck and drove across the country. It was in Oregon where I met Maya. She was nothing like Sophie, calm, thoughtful, patient. She worked at a local bookstore, loved quiet mornings, and somehow saw beauty in everything broken. She didn't try to fix me. She just sat with me in the silence until I could breathe again. 10 months later, we started dating. 3 years later, we were married. We now have 2 little ones together, Ella and Miles, ages 6 and 4. They call me the world's best pancake chef. I read them stories before bed, and sometimes when Maya's asleep beside me, I look at them and think, this is what peace feels like. I finally built a life that didn't hurt to live. That was over a decade ago. I haven't heard from my older kids since. I stopped asking about them after my mother passed. Before she died, she used to give me updates. Birthdays, graduations, weddings. But every time she did, it reopened wounds I was trying to let heal. So I told her, "Mom, please, no more updates. I can't do it." Then, last week, I got a call. The number had my old hometown area code. I almost didn't answer, but something made me press accept. "Dad," a shaky voice said. My chest tightened. It was Lily. Before my brain caught up, my mouth said, "Sorry, wrong number," and I hung up. Then I blocked the number. It took me hours to stop shaking, processing the past. I called my uncle that night, and he confirmed it. Lily had been trying to reach me. Apparently, she wanted to reconnect. But after all these years, after the things they said, after the silence, after the pain, I didn't know if I had it in me to open that door again. My therapist cleared a slot for me Monday. I took the day off work. Maya sat with me as I wrote everything down. Every memory, every betrayal, every piece of guilt I still carried. We agreed I'd respond by email. No calls, no visits. Not yet. I needed boundaries. Part of me wonders if I'm being cruel, but the truth is I'm terrified. I don't want my young kids to bond with someone who might vanish the moment things get uncomfortable. I know I cut my older children off, but in my heart, I still feel they abandoned me first. They chose a version of me that wasn't real, a story their mother told them to justify her choices, and now, years later, they want to talk. But I've rebuilt my world, piece by piece, and I can't afford to have it shattered again. I did eventually send Lily an email address. Maya typed it for me because my hands were trembling too much. I haven't heard back yet. Maybe I won't. And maybe that's okay, because I'm not that broken man anymore. I'm a father again, to two beautiful children who see me as their safe place. I'm a husband to a woman who reminds me that love can heal without demanding anything in return. I don't know if I'll ever truly forgive my past, but I've learned something important. Sometimes, walking away isn't bitterness. It's survival. And when people who abandoned you suddenly remember your name, it's okay to tell them, gently but firmly, keep that same energy. 3 weeks passed after I sent that email address to Lily. I tried to push it out of my mind, but I checked my inbox every night, even though I told myself I wouldn't. Then one evening, I saw it. A message titled simply, Dad. I sat there staring at the screen for almost an hour before I opened it. It started gently. I've been thinking about you a lot lately, she wrote. Mom told us things back then that weren't true. I just want to talk. For a second, I felt something break open inside me. Hope. We exchanged emails for about a month. They were short, cautious. I told her about my life in Oregon, about Maya, about Ella and Miles. She told me she worked in marketing now, that she was married, and had a little girl named Harper. I thought maybe, just maybe, we were starting over. Then she asked if we could all have a family call. Her, Ben, and Noah. Maya was hesitant, but she said, if you feel ready, I'll support you. So, one Sunday afternoon, I sat in my office, took a deep breath, and joined the call. At first, it was awkward. Lily smiled nervously. Ben barely looked at the camera. Noah stayed muted for most of it. Then came the first hit. So, you really moved across the country and started a whole new family, huh? Ben said. It wasn't what he said. It was how he said it. Sharp, accusing, like I'd betrayed them. I didn't move to start over without you, I said quietly. I moved because I had nothing left. You all stopped talking to me. Lily sighed. Well, you didn't exactly try that hard to fix things, did you? I sat there, stunned. After years of being painted as the villain, of taking the blame silently, they still couldn't see me. I tried explaining again that I stayed quiet to protect them, that their mother made threats, that I was drowning. Noah finally unmuted. Mom said you left her because she wasn't good enough for you, that you wanted a younger woman, that you didn't love us. I felt my throat tighten. That's not true, I said. I left because she was unfaithful. I stayed silent because I thought it would protect you. Lily's eyes narrowed. You're saying Mom cheated? After all these years, now you want to drag her name through the mud? There it was. The trap. I realized then this wasn't reconciliation. It was interrogation. The next few weeks were chaos. At first, Lily pretended to want to rebuild a relationship. She called often, sent pictures of her daughter, asked about the grandkids. I thought things were improving. Then came the guilt trips. Harper's birthday is coming up, she said one night. It would mean a lot if you sent something, to show you care. I sent a gift, a small one, a wooden toy set and a card. The next call, Ben chimed in. Seriously, Dad? That's all you sent? You have money for a new family, but not for your first one? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They'd never asked how I'd survived those years alone, how I almost didn't make it. They didn't care how many nights I cried into my pillow, missing them. They just saw me as a wallet, the same way Sophie used to. Then Lily asked for help with a temporary financial setback. She said it would be just this once. I sent her a modest amount, not enough to hurt me, but enough to show good faith. 2 weeks later, Ben called asking for the same. When I said I couldn't do more, Lily snapped, "Wow, you've really changed. Guess we were right about you." That was the moment I realized I was being played. They didn't want a father. They wanted validation, money, and someone to blame when things didn't go their way. It all came to a head one afternoon when they decided to visit. They didn't ask. They just texted, "We'll be in Oregon next weekend. The kids want to meet their siblings." Maya and I were blindsided. Still, we prepared. She cooked a big dinner. We made the house spotless. When they arrived, they were polite. For about 10 minutes. Then Lily started walking around the house, making little comments. "Wow, must be nice living like this," she said. "Did you ever think we might have liked a house like this growing up?" Ben nodded. Guess Dad saved all the good years for the new family. Even Noah, who'd been quiet before, joined in. "You must be so proud of yourself. pretending to be father of the year now. I didn't even know how to respond. Ella came running into the room holding a drawing she'd made, all of us together. "Look, Daddy," she said proudly. Lily forced a smile. "That's cute," she muttered, then looked at me. "Must be nice to get a do-over, huh?" That was it. That was the last straw. I looked at them, these adults who used to be my babies, and realized there was nothing left between us but resentment. "I think it's time for you to go," I said quietly. Lily looked shocked. "What?" I said go. I tried. I reached out. I opened my home to you. "But you're not here to reconnect. You're here to punish me for something that wasn't my fault." Ben scoffed. "You really are selfish." I walked to the door, opened it, and said, "Then I guess I'm finally consistent." They left without another word. Maya wrapped her arms around me as soon as the door closed. I didn't cry. I just stood there, breathing, feeling both broken and free, moving on, for real. This time, that night, I sat on the porch until sunrise. I thought about the little boy version of myself who wanted nothing more than to be a good dad, and I realized I was one. I showed up. I sacrificed. I loved them, even when they hated me. But love doesn't mean letting people destroy you over and over again. The next day, I blocked their numbers, deleted their emails, and for the first time, I didn't feel guilt. I felt peace. Now, my life is simple. I coach Miles's little league team. Ella and I plant flowers in the backyard every spring. Maya and I still have quiet coffee mornings on the porch. Every once in a while, I think about Lily, Ben, and Noah. I hope they're happy. I hope they learn one day what truth feels like, but I don't want to be part of their lives anymore. I spent years waiting for them to see me, and when they finally looked, they saw only the man their mother invented. So I let go, completely, because sometimes the only way to heal is to accept that some chapters end without closure, and that peace is worth more than any reunion. And this time, when I walked away, I didn't look back.